All right, well, Jim cannot win this week, so I thought he'd come up with it. Since he's got the good luck going, so I'm going to let him draw. And Francie didn't forget, but she did put the slide up there, so she's got this excitement right before her talk. It's a good idea, actually. All right, Jim, here you go. Just pick one.
And I think it was 311. What was it?
Yeah.
And the winner is
Cindy Sweet.
Yay! All right.
This month was 311 something, I think.
Was it, I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
It was 3 something.
Yeah.
There you
I'll
go.
tell you
You'll have to check that
I'll
out.
tell you after service.
Oh, you'll
But
have
I'm
to
pretty sure it was
check.
311.89 or something like
Something
that.
like
That's what I was thinking. something
Yeah.
like that.
So, yeah. And also, I wanted to point out, too, our beautiful Christmas cactuses
Yes.
from Karen. Aren't they
They're
beautiful?
gorgeous.
Oh, wait a minute. I want to.
Congratulations, Sandy.
Thank you.
Yeah. All kinds of excitement.
Got
Yeah,
the
yeah,
wrong
yeah.
twin.
Huh?
Got
What?
the wrong twin.
Well, you were supposed to win that
You
one.
did win one Sunday.
You don't show up, you snooze, you lose. You know that's the way it goes. Sorry.
And where
Not
do
really.
those monies come from?
Huh?
Where does that 311 come from?
Where does it come from?
Yeah, where is it?
It comes from the amount of giving that we have from the month before. So it's 10% of what was given last month.
Okay, I see.
So if you do the math,
Yeah.
the giving was $3,118.90 or something like
Tell her
that.
why we do this. I don't know if she knows.
Huh?
The law of giving and receiving.
Yeah, well, as you give, so you receive. So it puts you in the flow of
Yeah.
giving and receiving. So why we're doing it. So we'll see. Anyway, my talk, of course, is faith, because we all know this is the first Sunday of Advent, which also the theme is faith. And believe it or not, for the 12 powers, the first 12th power, and it's for January, because it goes by the months of the year, is faith. That's why we have the blue one up there. It represents faith. So you got a whole first thing going on there. Now, I think a lot of people, when they hear the word faith, they think about what religion they are. Now, and I know that some people think about what they believe in, but faith is much more than either one of those two things. Faith is from that place within us that that activates all the powers and helps bring forth all the powers. Now, there's a catchphrase that I like to use when I think about faith, and it goes like this. You know when you know. I think of faith as being that place where we know when you know that God's got this, that you don't have to worry about anything, that it's just all there, and you know that you know. It's like freedom, really, total freedom. And I know that right now there's this silly meme that is, and people type it, IYK, which means if you know, you know. But faith is not about if. Faith is about knowing. It is more than just a little wish or thinking something's going to be so. It is that knowing that you know. And that is so secure and such a starting point for us to think about. Because that takes us forward if we always have that knowing. If we always know within our heart that God is with us and all is going to be okay, it washes away everything else. Now, sometimes we allow fear to take over because we know that fear is the opposite of faith, and that fear can work into our psyche, can work into our mind, and churn up all these thoughts and stuff. And a common acronym that we have for fear, oh, there you go, you know when you know, is false evidence appearing real. A lot of people like to use that. I came up with my own. It says following excuses, always regretting. Because what happens with fear is that we start making excuses. We allow fear to come into our minds and change that knowing that you know. We allow fear to say, oh, I know I can do this, but then you go, fear jumps in and goes, oh, I don't know. You might not be good enough, or no, you don't have enough money, or no, they don't want you to be in that group, or whatever it is, we start making the excuses. And then what happens is, we always regret that we allowed that churning and those excuses and all those thoughts to take us away away from the truth that we know, that knowing that we know. And why do we do this? Why do we allow fear to have such control when all we have to do is erase it with the idea of faith? Now, these negative thoughts, they really do churn up in our brains and start disassembling all the truths that we know. And if we are allowing fear or any of these negative thoughts to take control, then it's harder and harder, more difficult to find faith. And all we have to do is stop in that moment and affirm faith. And this is what I love about the idea of fear blocking things. The magic eraser to get rid of fear is faith. And I mean, if you need a visual, go get you a magic eraser and write faith on it, because it can erase any of that doubt, any of that fear, any of that worry. And you know, it happens all the time. I know a lot of people in this group just said they were having health challenges. Well, put that health challenge down on a piece of paper and take just a pencil eraser and erase it and cross it out and put faith over it. And in your mind, what you're doing is taking back the power that God has given us by being able to use the simple word faith, by bringing that forth in our minds. It opens up that channel for us. In Adam's Passion Power of Mind, Fillmore wrote, "Have faith in the power of your mind to penetrate and release the energy that is pent up in the atoms of your body, and you will be astounded at the response." I love that. Have faith in the power of your mind. See, we think our mind is just taking us in the negative direction. But once we are following the truth that we know, once we're following the truth that God is with us, that faith is that power within us, our mind jumps into place and says, hey, yeah, I want to show you that power you have within you. I want to allow you to experience that. And it opens up new thought patterns and new ways of thinking. And there's where we want to go with things. When they give us that diagnosis, or we think we have something wrong with it, we want to scratch that off, use our magic eraser, and come back with, God's got this. It's okay. It's going to be okay. We're going to resolve this. And we're going to figure it out. And so why is this significant to think about this, about your mind? Well, the power of faith, Fillmore determined the body part to be the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is in the middle of your head. In the middle of your brain is this little tiny gland. And you know when they say you only need faith the size of a mustard seed? Well, that pineal gland is just a little tiny gland in your brain. So it's just like that. It's just that little bit that actually can be so explosive and so powerful if we are aware of it and activate it. And so it does have to do with your mind. And since it's located in the center of your brain, think of it as like a center point that can send out that energy that clears all that space that is anything less than having faith, that knowing God is with you. And it's neat because when you start thinking about that, then you start thinking about other words that are similar to fear, like doubt, for example. You know, a lot of people think, oh, well, if I doubt this, you know, then I'm not having faith. Well, you're not. But Fillmore defines doubt like this: unsettled state of opinion concerning the reality of the truth of something. He uses Webster first. Now, I think it's kind of funny. Unsettled state of opinion. And we all have opinions, don't we? Mm-hmm. And our opinions a lot of times are unsettled because we're using it from a human condition, from the human side of ourselves. Instead of looking at the opinion from the spiritual aspect of ourselves. Changes everything. Changes everything if you start thinking about, well, I had this, but that isn't right because that's not the truth. I mean, think about this. I know we all have something when we were kids that our parents told us about spirituality or religion or something, and we always knew that didn't settle with us, that couldn't be the truth. The big one for me was my parents always said, you know, if you do that, you're going to go to hell. You know, and I just kept thinking, I don't think we're going to hell. I just knew. I knew that there was no hell, that I wasn't going to hell, you know, and that nobody was going to hell. But you have to think about something like that in order to see how easy it is to flip your thinking. And if you're following truth, then guess what? That truth's going to come through, and you're going to be going, are you talking about? That isn't right. And you can erase it and let it go. So it continues. Here's actually his definition. It goes on. Doubt is the Satan of every man. Doubt is the root of weakness, mental and physical. Now, we all know in Unity, there's no red horned dude that is called Satan, right? Right. There is no Satan. But when we look at the metaphysical meaning for the word Satan, we see it means the enemy. That makes more sense. Not an enemy out there, though, but the negative power derived from the unlawful expression within oneself. And this is so important because, it's so easy to blame other people. It's so easy to throw it out there. Oh, Satan made me do that, or the devil made me do it. Yeah. I always got this cute little story about the devil. This one lady told me, she said her grandson came in with grass stains all over his knees, and she said, you ruined those pants, you got grass stains all over your knees. And he said, the devil made me do it. He said, the devil's in that grass. So anyway, that's what we do, though. We throw it out there like we don't take responsibility for our own self. But when you think about it, that the negative power derived from the unlawful expression within oneself. Everything negative that you are expressing or thinking is going to show up, and you're not going to want to. You're not going to take responsibility because you don't want it to be about something you have to work out inside. You want to make it because, that person did that, or the grass jumped up and got my pants all stained. No, we have to take responsibility and say, hey, it's my thinking that is causing this. It is my thinking that has control over it. So, and that entangled negativity has to be wiped away. And I think, So if men, this is the rest of the definition. If men had faith in themselves, in the ability of spirit within them, they would become giants where they are now pygmies. So we're in a room full of pygmies. And we're all going to rise up and be giants by the time we leave. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hold that thought. Let's make that happen. So I saw a reel the other day, and it was from this guy named Kyle Cox, and it was on neuroscience. And I love this because it goes right along with what we're talking about. He said the psoas muscle stores fear. They call it the muscle of the soul, and I'm showing you where it's at. You see that? Yeah, that muscle right there. So think about this. If you're having hip pain, back pain, leg pain, and you have that negative energy, that negative fear stored in there. And it can be stored in there from your birth, believe it or not. I know people that do cranial sacral work, massage and stuff, and they say that, you have this muscle memory, and it can be stored in there from the time you were born. And, I was born breech. So my legs were getting pulled and yanked on to get out, and I think that there was probably fear there as a baby in the womb, and probably had some of that. And some of the cranial sacral work I've done in the past has released some of that. And so it's important to understand this because you go back to your physical body and you see the idea that whatever is happening in your life, wherever the pain is, there's some fear that's causing that to come through. And that being attached to your back, and if you look it up, you'll be surprised what all that muscle does for your whole spine and your body and stuff. And a lot of nerve endings go into that. So you can see how the idea of fear of anything over the years could affect whatever health challenge you have. One of the things I used to always fear is somebody being under my bed. And when I was a kid, I had that for years. And even as an adult, sometimes I still have a nightmare every once in a while that somebody's under my bed trying to get me. And I mean, it's like so unlogical. But that fear was so embedded at a young age that it's hard for it to leave. But when you come to the reality and you go, wait, this is just that bad dream happening again. Why is it showing up again? Then you have to process that and learn to release that. Now, he does give you some instructions on how to release the fear from this muscle. And what he says is lay on your back and hang one leg off the side of the bed or the couch, okay? And while you pull the other leg up to your chest best you can, and hold the pose for 30 seconds and then switch legs. It really does help. No matter how little you can pull up your leg or whatever, you'll feel it. You'll feel the release. And the good part is, if you're feeling the release, ask your body, what is the fear I'm releasing? Because once you identify it, it's easier to let it go. And of course, when you're in the moment of fear, say you're in your car, or say you're in the store and you're getting ready to leave, and you start walking out to your car and you feel like something's not right, that something's uneasy, and you start churning that fear, like, is somebody following me, or is somebody in the car next to me? One of those fearful moments. Do you know what I'm saying? You're right there in that moment. We all know what to do in that kind of situation. All we have to do is claim faith. Say, I am the power of faith, and say, I am faith. Everybody say it together. I am faith. And that can instantly change that moment for us and bring us peace of mind. And who knows who's out there in the parking lot? They're not going to bother us because we are now protected by the power of faith. And it's like holding something, a belief and the power all in one. Now, a lot of people think of faith as just having the right belief. And Fillmore defines that too, because he stated, belief is an inner acceptance of an idea as true. Wouldn't we agree with that? Yeah. Belief is closely related to faith. Belief functions both consciously and subconsciously. And this is where some of that fear factor comes in, because our subconscious and our conscious are holding on to these things that are buried within our bodies, within, say, let's just say that psoas muscle. You don't say the P. Psoas muscle. And so maybe we are needing to subconsciously release it before we can consciously release it. Where faith is more of that knowing, that more like it's just right there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So Fillmore likes to also say, oh, this is the rest of the definition, I think. Yeah, sorry. Many false individual and race beliefs are very active below the conscious level. This is why it's important to know it's subconscious and conscious. To erase these hidden error beliefs, a comprehensive program of denials is necessary. Now we know in Unity that denials is not saying it didn't happen. Denials is taking back the power that you have given to something. So like me with those dreams, or nightmares of somebody under my bed, I have given power to some thought that isn't serving me well, that's making me fearful in the night and panicky. And I have to learn to take back my power and say, that's just some thought that I've had for all these years that I need to release and let go, and know that through faith that nobody's in my room, nobody's under my bed, and you know that everything's okay. And we have to learn to do that. We have to be in that place where we don't allow anything negative to take control of us. You know, God's good pleasure is to give us the kingdom, and we want to be in that place where we can accept the good. And if we can't, if we have fear or doubt or any of these problems that are blocking us, then we have to clear that out. Now, some of you might be wondering, and I think this is where I'm at. Oh no, yeah, okay. So we're denying any of the power we're giving. Everybody knows what a denial is, right? Yeah. You say, you know, I no longer give power to whatever it is, right? We know that we know God is in the midst of us and that we can do and be all that we are meant to be. Just that idea of faith, just that idea of having that situation puts us in that place where we know that none of that has control. That we have, it's like the ultimate denial, actually. It is. It's like now all of a sudden you can affirm anything and your body and your mind will believe it, and especially your heart. Fillmore's favorite quote was, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, a conviction of things not seen." The daily word used to always just be faith for the first Sunday of Advent. And a number of years ago they changed it to hope and faith because a lot of denominations use hope instead of faith for that first Sunday. So Fillmore says about hope, he says faith is the assurance. Assurance means it's for sure, right?
Right.
And of things hoped for. So when we're hoping for something, we're not absolutely sure, are we? We're not sitting there thinking, okay, I'm hoping for for that new car, that Maserati. I didn't even want one. We are in that state of mind rather than that knowing state of mind. So there's a bit of a difference between hope and faith. And from the revealing word, he says, hope is the expectation of good in the future. That kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. It is a quality, good as far as it goes, of sense mind, because it is subject to time. So, yeah, I'm hoping for this to come. It's in the future. I'm hoping for it to be. I'm hoping that that person starts doing different behavior. I'm hoping that this can happen. Whatever it is, it's in the future. Faith is the certain knowledge that our good is ours right now. It is of God. It goes beyond time and space. That's why it's important to understand faith. Right here, right now. Doesn't matter what all you guys put down on your prayer request or anything, but we can claim right now, I have faith that God is in the midst of me, and that I know perfect health is mine. And that I can claim this. And how it shows up is in the future. We don't have to worry about it. We don't have to hope for it. We can just know it right here, right now. And we might only start with a nanosecond of relief. And that's okay. That nanosecond of relief is worth it, isn't it? Yeah. That breath that we go, wait, I'm not hurting in this second. It helps. And Myrtle took 2 years to get over that pain and suffering. Who knows how long it will take? But every time we say that, every time we believe that and know that for ourselves, it changes the molecules, the cells, all that stuff within our system. And then again, when we say, I am faith, it's like more determined, more secure. I guess that would be a good word. But I love this about goes beyond time and space. Faith goes beyond time and space. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Yeah, it's not limited to anything. And isn't that what God is? Right. And believe you me, we deserve it. We deserve that faith is not limited. That faith is always abundant, flowing in and through us. And activating us sets that foundation for all the 12 powers. All the 12 powers. Well, I have I do have a thing about this in a way, because sometimes what happens with us is that we live in a material world and we want instant gratification, don't we? And when it doesn't show up as we expected or want it, we resort to the negative. We might claim that we're not good enough, or that, oh, well, I wasn't supposed to win that tithe today. Oh, Sandy won the tithe. Of course she should have won it because, I'm not good enough to win it. Or I wanted that money, but, if I don't get it, oh well, whatever. And maybe we think that everything is supposed to be that way, but it's not. And I have a family story about this that I'm going to share. It's a short one. But it goes along with this whole idea of Christmas and birthdays. There were 10 kids in my family. So, yeah. So Christmas and birthdays sometimes were a hit or miss. And what happened was, sometimes for Christmas we'd get, one toy. We always got like an outfit or pajamas, one of the two. And we usually got a candy cane and a stocking. And we were good to go. We thought that was cool. I mean, we didn't think anything about it if we didn't have, 10 presents under the tree or anything like that. Now, some years we did have, more things, but I would never say 10, but we would have, 4 or 5. And it was what it was. I mean, that many kids. But my birthday landed in February. And that's when all the bills from Sears and Roebuck came in. They give you that January grace month.
Yeah.
But February, they all come. And there were some years I didn't even get a birthday present. My mom whipped together a cake and we called it good. But I always knew that was the reason why I didn't get a birthday present, was because the bills came in and they had to pay those. And money was scarce at that point. And it'd take them probably most of the year to pay off those Sears bills to be able to charge again for the next Christmas. But, so it was what it was. But anytime that ever happened, I always thought, I was like, okay, well that's okay, because this way then, they'll have enough money for the next person's birthday, or somebody else will get something, and that's okay. I don't need anything. I don't have to have anything. which sounds like I'm being this little sweet angel, and that that I'm just so kind and loving. And at the time in doing all that, I just thought that's who I needed to be, and that's the way it was. But you know what? When I got older, and especially mainly when I got into Unity, it didn't work that way. I used to think that if I didn't get something, that it was okay because I knew someone else would get it, and I wanted to be happy for them. Isn't that a good thing? But, But this time of year, yeah, it can be. This time of year brings up this scenario for me and makes me think about it, because really what was happening is I was living in lack, thinking that way. That I had to do more or be more, or maybe if I was a little bit kinder, I could win that thing or be a part of that thing, and maybe I just needed to just, have, be more disciplined or whatever it was. And that's crazy because you're living in lack, and there's enough for everybody, and we have to realize that no matter what it is that we have or don't have, there's enough for everybody, and it's beyond that. And having faith is like that. Having faith is knowing that there's enough for everybody, that no matter who wins or what anybody gets, that there's enough. Because what was happening to me in this situation was I was actually not living in faith. I call it, this was doubt sprinkled with fear. Because I doubted my own self-worth. I doubted what I should get or what was worthy for me. So all I was doing was doubting and sprinkling it with fear. Fear that if I wasn't good enough, if I didn't do the right thing, that it was going to be worse the next time. That's not where we want to live. That's not who we want to be. That is not what kind of mentality we want to have on anything. So faith allows our minds to experience the physical, but yet realize that there's something more for everyone, something more for all of us. And when we do that, it changes everything. And, when we start realizing these truths about faith or any of the powers, it can feel like like Christmas and your birthday every day of the week. And I think that's true. I think it's true. We can celebrate each day and just feel the good that's there. So, from Fillmore, the Revealing Word, faith, here's the definition. The perceiving power of the mind linked with the power to shape substance. Now, substance should have been capitalized because we know substance is what? God. God stuff, we call it. God stuff in Unity. And so you can shape God stuff. You get to decide that you're going to activate this power within you and bring forth these divine ideas. And our faith shaping substance allows us to know that we know that it's all going to be good, right? No matter what it is. He goes on with, faith is spiritual assurance, the power to do the seemingly impossible. Now, don't they say that? Somebody who accomplishes something big, that seemed impossible. How did you do it? Well, I had faith that I knew I could get it, or I knew that it was going to get done. That's faith. The minute somebody says, I know, and claims it so, then it is faith. That's faith in expression. It is a magnetic power that draws unto us our heart's desires from the invisible spiritual substance. God brings it to us. Faith is a deep inner knowing that which is sought is already ours for the taking. So we don't have to hope for it to come to us. We don't have to think that we have to be better or do the right things. No, faith allows us to know it's here for us. It's here for our taking. It's here to fill the desires of our soul. And isn't that much better than, beseeching out there, something in the ethers?
It is.
So, yeah. So, is there something that you could think of right now that you're desiring or that you're wanting? Think about it for a second. It might be health, it might be a car, it might be whatever it is, something that you are desiring. And when you desire something, then you're opening, it's like going to the door, opening the door, waiting here for God, going, okay, God, I desire this. And now God knows this already, but sometimes we have to put it out there in order for our own selves to have enough faith to believe it. Okay, God, I want perfect health today. Whatever it is, just put it out there. And allow yourself to know that you're going to get it. that it is yours for the taking. It is yours if you desire it. And just keep affirming, I am faith. I have faith. I know God is going to be here in the midst of all this and bring it forth for me. And let yourself feel the feelings that you have along with it. Because, you know, we go to the door and knock, we're waiting, but then we're not like allowing ourselves to feel what we're feeling. And whether it's that feeling to release some hidden fear that you've held down in your body forever, or whether it's being able to just sit there and go, I don't care what anybody says, I know it's coming to me. Nobody's going to take this from me. It's going to be mine, it's going to be great, and it's going to help everybody. The highest good for all, I always say. And it's true. That's pure faith. That's bringing forth. And we know God's our source, so all we have to do is open our hands. Open our hands and say, yes, it's coming. It's here. It's going to be. It is. Whatever. Any negative, condemning, resistant, and hostile thoughts must be released, and divine love must be accepted and affirmed. This is when faith freely emerges. Divine love is also another name for God. So the minute we release and allow God to be in our lives and accept and affirm God in our lives, it allows that good to come forth. It allows what we want to be ours. And love is such a powerful thing. Love of self, love of others, beholding the Christ in others, all that falls into place. Here's another word that a lot of people link up with faith, is trust. And Fillmore defines that for us too. Faith compared with trust. Trust is a weaker brand of faith, but better than mistrust. That's a good thing, isn't it? Yeah. As a rule, persons who merely trust the Lord do not understand divine law. Okay, this is when we fall short, and it's okay. Sometimes we're going to fall short. But the minute we step back and go, wait, God is in the midst of me. I am faith. I have faith. We're bumping back up again, right? We're leaping forward again. So that brings us that understanding that we know that we know through divine law. Goes on with, if they had understanding, they would affirm the presence and power of God until the very substance of spirit would appear in manifestation. Simple instructions right here. And they go like this, people. Affirm the presence and power of God until the very substance of spirit would appear in manifestation. Like I said, it could be that nanosecond of no pain. Could be that idea that somebody said, hey, I want to give you a car. Could be that peace of mind that you've been looking for because you've been so uptight, jammed up and jelly tight, I call it. So you have to be able to claim it. Can we do that? Can we affirm the presence and power of God within us? Yes, it's so easy to do. And eventually then we will be able to feel and know faith purely from that soul desire that's within us. The more we affirm faith, the more we will be able to claim we know when we know. Thank you for being here today. God bless you.